Nashville and the rest of the country grieving this morning, less than 24 hours after 3 9-year-old students and 3 staff members were gunned down inside an elementary school.
This morning, we're getting our first look at disturbing new surveillance video of the suspect, a former student, shooting out the doors of the school just ahead of the killing spree. Wake Up Charlotte's Jay Gray is in Nashville with the latest on the tragedy.
Well, good morning, Ben. Good morning, Sarah. The Covenant School is just behind us here. It's a tightly knit campus of about 200 kids from preschool through the 6th grade. They were starting the week yesterday, their last week before Easter vacation. Now 6 families not planning vacations, but instead funerals.
We're under a mass casualty alert.
Locked glass doors shattered by gunfire. A shooter crawling through the doorframe, stalking the hallways of the Covenant School with what appears to be an assault-style rifle. Then, minutes later,
The school shooting, multiple victims down.
3 9-year-olds and 3 staff members murdered as they were starting their day at the Covenant School.
It's disgusting, and I have no words. I'm just trying to process it all. It's so terrible, so sad.
Investigators say the 28-year-old suspect killed by officers as they rushed into the building was a former student.
There's some belief that there was some resentment for having to go to that school, and that's why this incident occurred.
Nashville's police chief says Audrey Hale identifies as transgender. That information, part of a manifesto uncovered by police who say the school was not the only target.
There was going to be shootings at multiple locations, and the school was one of them. There was actually a map of the school detailing surveillance entry points.
Now, this stunned, scared, grieving community searches for a map of how to move forward.
I mean, there's not much you can do as a teenager, and I mean, just someone just so small in this world. But I mean, I can pray and I can bring flowers and I can extend a hand of comfort.
Comfort that is so desperately needed here right now.
And a quick closer look now at the school. It sits alongside Covenant Presbyterian Church, which is just up the hill here. The enrollment is about 200 students. Again, a very close group of families, all struggling right now. In Nashville, Jay Gray, Wake Up Charlotte.
Of course, we understand this news is tough for any family, and it's difficult to unpack what happened with your kids.
So Kia Murray is picking up our team coverage with ways you can help try to talk to your kids and make them feel safe as they head out to school today. Kia.
That's right. Yet another school shooting has left families on edge. So for parents, we're sharing ways to talk about this with your kids, breaking it down to age group. If you have elementary age kids and younger, you'll want to keep these explanations very short and balanced. Parent experts say it might be telling your young ones a bad person hurt people. And if your kids see any violent image, try to counteract those negatives with positives, like how others stepped up to help. For preteens, it's more about listening. The conversation is about learning what their feelings and values are and can give you some insight as to what kind of child you're raising. And for teenagers, it's about looking for solutions. Parenting experts add teens expect more, and teaching them to be proactive now can help them in the future. Here's a local psychologist, then speaking on a school shooting last year about approaching the topic.
They are going to have some big questions, but it's also really important for parents to try to keep their answers developmentally appropriate, so that you don't get too much in the weeds of details that the kids are not really able to process.
And a question that I think a lot of parents are asking, how young is too young to talk about this at all? We were looking at some experts speaking on the Today Show who said any younger than 8 is probably inappropriate. But even still, guys, 8 years old to be talking about this, I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about it with my 7-year-old, but at the same time, they do prepare for these things at school. Yeah. They come on the intercom and they know how to hide in the back of the room and lock the door and be quiet. And it's so sad that the world we're living in.
All right, Kia, thank you.
All right, we're going to have much more on the reaction to the shooting coming up in our next hour. But for the latest updates, remember to download the WCNC Charlotte app.